The life you dream of is on the other side of effort. Not just any effort, consistent, focused, relentless effort. Success doesn't arrive by chance. It's earned by those who are willing to outwork, outlast, and outperform the rest. The question is, are you ready to put in that kind of work? What separates those who achieve greatness from those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's the willingness to do what others won't. It's showing up every day, pushing through discomfort, and committing to the grind, even when no one's watching. It's understanding that every step forward, no matter how small, takes you closer to the life you want. If you've been waiting for a sign to take action, consider this your wake-up call. Your potential is limitless, but the results are in your hands. Let's talk about how to harness that drive, stay focused, and build the discipline it takes to achieve something extraordinary. Success isn't a secret, it's a process. It starts here, and it starts now. Number 1, success requires relentless effort. If there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that success doesn't just happen. It's not something that falls into your lap while you're sitting back waiting for life to do all the work. Success requires relentless effort. It requires you to wake up every day with a purpose, ready to push yourself, ready to demand more of yourself, ready to do what most people won't. Now, when I say relentless effort, I mean giving it your all. It's about putting your heart into what you do, every single day, no matter how small the task might seem. Because here's the truth, success isn't built on a single moment. It's built on hundreds, even thousands of small decisions and actions. It's built in those quiet hours when no one else is watching, no one else is clapping for you, and no one else is telling you to keep going. Let me ask you this, how bad do you want it? I mean, really think about that. How badly do you want the life you're dreaming of? Because if you're not willing to pour relentless effort into your goals, then I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen. Success doesn't respond to half-hearted attempts. It doesn't care if you're tired or if you don't feel like it today. It only cares about what you're willing to put in. Think about the people you admire, the ones who've achieved what you aspire to. Do you think they got there by luck? No, they put in the hours. They sacrificed. They worked while others rested. They faced their fears and doubts, but they didn't stop. They showed up. Day after day, they showed up. And that's the mindset you need to adopt if you want to succeed. I want you to picture this for a moment. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. What does your life look like? What kind of person have you become? Now, I want you to understand something important. The person you become 5 years from now depends entirely on the choices you make today. Every moment matters. Every ounce of effort counts. The way you spend your time today will determine the life you're living tomorrow. And if you want that life to be extraordinary, your effort has to match that vision. Here's where most people get it wrong. They underestimate the grind. They want the results, but they're not willing to do the work. Let me tell you something I've learned. Success doesn't care how badly you want it. It cares about how hard you're willing to work for it. Wanting something isn't enough. Dreaming about it isn't enough. It's about what you're willing to do, day in and day out, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And yes, it's going to be hard. It's going to push you to your limits. There will be days when you feel like giving up, days when it feels like nothing is going your way. But that's when the relentless effort comes into play. That's when you remind yourself why you started in the first place. That's when you dig deep and keep going, no matter how tough it gets. Because those are the moments that separate the winners from everyone else. Let's talk about the grind for a second. You see, the grind is unglamorous. It's not flashy. It's not something people post about on social media. It's the long hours, the late nights, the early mornings. It's doing the work when no one else is around, when there's no applause, no recognition. But that's where the magic happens. That's where success is born, in the grind, in the relentless effort. And don't make the mistake of thinking you need to be perfect. You don't. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing your best, even when your best doesn't feel like enough. It's about moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. Because progress is progress, no matter how small. Let me tell you something else. Relentless effort isn't just about working hard. It's about working smart, too. It's about being intentional with your time and energy. It's about focusing on the things that matter most, the things that will move you closer to your goals. It's about cutting out the distractions, saying no to the things that don't serve you, and staying laser focused on your vision. Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Jim, I'm already working hard, and it still feels like I'm not getting anywhere. And I hear you. I've been there. But let me tell you something. Sometimes the results take time. Sometimes the seeds you're planting today won't bear fruit for weeks, months, or even years. But that doesn't mean your effort is wasted. Every step you take, every bit of work you put in, is building a foundation for your success. You might not see it yet, but it's there. Keep going. Trust the process. You see, relentless effort isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. It's about developing the discipline, the resilience, the grit to keep going no matter what. It's about building the kind of character that can handle success when it comes. Because here's the thing, success doesn't just change your circumstances, it changes you. And the person you become along the way is the real reward. So here's my challenge to you. Commit to the effort. Commit to giving it your all, every single day. Don't settle for mediocrity. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Don't let the opinions of others dictate your path. This is your life, your journey, your dream, and it's worth fighting for. I want you to leave here today with a fire in your belly, ready to take on whatever comes your way. I want you to remember that success isn't about luck or talent. It's about effort, relentless, unshakable effort. And if you're willing to put in the work, I promise you, the rewards will be worth it. So go out there and give it everything you've got. Show up, work hard, stay focused, and most importantly, never give up, because you have what it takes to succeed. You have what it takes to create the life you've always dreamed of. And it all starts right here, right now, with the effort you're willing to put in. Number 2, define your why. If you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, you're already lost. Purpose is what separates those who survive from those who thrive. It's the difference between simply existing and truly living. Now I want you to think about something. Why are you here? Why are you chasing your goals, your dreams, your ambitions? What is it all for? Because here's the truth. If you don't define your why, you'll burn out before you even get close to the finish line. Your why is the foundation of everything. It's the reason you get up early when everyone else is sleeping. It's the reason you keep going, even when you're tired, even when you're frustrated, even when nothing seems to be working. It's what fuels you when the odds feel stacked against you. But you've got to dig deep to find it, because a shallow why won't carry you through the hard times. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a man who worked tirelessly in his business. He was putting in 12, 14, sometimes 16-hour days, but the spark in his eyes was gone. He told me, "Jim, I'm exhausted. I'm doing everything I can, but it feels like I'm running in circles. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up." I asked him a simple question. "Why are you doing it?" He hesitated. He said, "Well, to make money, I guess." I paused, then looked him in the eye and said, "Money isn't a why, it's a result. Go deeper." And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. Go deeper, because a surface-level reason won't keep you moving forward. If your why is just about a paycheck, you'll fold the moment things get tough. But if your why is rooted in something bigger, something meaningful, something that stirs your soul, you'll find the strength to keep going, no matter what. Think about this. What do you want your life to stand for? What kind of legacy do you want to leave? Maybe it's about creating a better future for your family. Maybe it's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more. Maybe it's about making an impact on the world. Whatever it is, it has to matter to you. It can't be about pleasing others or living up to someone else's expectations. It has to come from your heart. When you define your why, everything else starts to make sense. It brings clarity to your decisions. It helps you focus on what truly matters, and it gives you a sense of direction. Even when the path ahead feels uncertain, your why is like a compass, guiding you through the storms of life. Without it, you'll drift. You'll let the opinions of others, the distractions of the world, and the inevitable setbacks pull you off course. But here's the thing. Finding your why isn't always easy. It takes time, it takes reflection, and it takes honesty. You've got to ask yourself some tough questions. What drives you? What excites you? What scares you? What would you do even if you weren't being paid? What makes you feel alive? And you've got to be willing to face the answers, even if they're uncomfortable. Now let me share something personal with you. When I was younger, I wasn't exactly a shining example of success. I was broke, frustrated, and lost. I didn't have a clear direction. But then I had a mentor who asked me a question that changed everything. He said, "Jim, what kind of person do you want to become? What kind of life do you want to create?" At first I didn't have an answer, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, the clearer it became. I wanted to become someone who could inspire others, someone who could make a difference, someone who could look back on life with no regrets. That became my why, and it gave me the drive to change my habits, to work harder, to keep going even when it felt impossible. Your why has to be personal. It has to resonate with you on a deep level, and once you find it, you've got to protect it. Write it down, keep it somewhere you'll see it every day. Remind yourself of it constantly, because life will test you. There will be days when you feel like giving up. There will be days when you wonder if it's all worth it. And on those days, your why will be the thing that keeps you moving forward. But don't just stop at finding your why. Use it as a filter for your decisions. When opportunities come your way, ask yourself, does this align with my purpose? When challenges arise, remind yourself, this is why I'm doing this. Your why isn't just a motivator. It's a guide. It helps you stay on track and avoid the distractions that can derail your progress. Now I want to leave you with this thought. Your why is your power. It's what sets you apart from everyone else. It's what gives you the strength to push through pain, fatigue, and doubt. But you've got to claim it. You've got to own it. And you've got to let it drive you every single day. Because when you know your why, you become unstoppable. You can face any obstacle, overcome any challenge, and achieve any goal. So take the time to find your purpose. Dig deep, be honest with yourself, and let your why be the fuel that propels you toward the life you've always dreamed of. Number 3, commit to the grind. Nothing worth having ever comes without effort. And I'm not talking about casual effort. I'm talking about commitment. I'm talking about showing up every single day, ready to grind, ready to put in the work, ready to do what it takes to make your vision a reality. The truth is, success doesn't show up on its own. It doesn't knock on your door while you're sitting back waiting for life to happen. You have to commit to the grind. Now I know what you're thinking, Jim, I've heard it all before. Hard work, discipline, blah blah blah. But let me ask you this. Are you really committed? I mean truly committed? Because there's a big difference between being interested in success and being committed to it. If you're only interested, you'll do what's convenient. You'll work hard when it's easy. You'll stay focused as long as you're motivated. But when the road gets tough, when the distractions creep in, when you don't feel like it anymore, if you're just interested, you'll quit. Commitment, though, is different. Commitment means showing up when you don't feel like it. It means sticking with it when it's boring, frustrating, or even painful. It means making sacrifices, choosing discipline over comfort, and putting in the work every single day, not just when it's convenient. You see, the grind isn't glamorous. It's not always exciting. It's waking up early when you'd rather sleep in. It's staying up late to finish the job when everyone else is relaxing. It's doing the repetitive, tedious tasks that most people won't bother with because they're not fun. But here's the secret. The grind is where growth happens. It's where you build the skills, the resilience, and the discipline that set you apart. It's where you become the kind of person who can handle success, not just achieve it, but sustain it. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I knew a young man who had a dream of becoming a professional athlete. He had the talent, no doubt about it. But talent alone doesn't guarantee success. He showed up to practice every day, worked hard during the drills, and gave it his all during the games. But here's what separated him from the rest. When practice was over, he stayed behind. While his teammates were hitting the showers or heading home, he was still on the field running sprints, practicing his moves, pushing himself harder and harder. He committed to the grind. And years later, he made it to the big leagues. Not because he was the most talented, but because he was the most committed. That's the kind of mindset you need. The willingness to do what others won't. To keep going long after the excitement has worn off. To embrace the grind as a necessary part of the journey. And let me tell you, when you commit to the grind, amazing things start to happen. You start to see progress, not overnight, but gradually. You start to feel stronger, more capable, more confident. And before you know it, you've built momentum. And that momentum, it's a powerful thing. It's what carries you through the tough times, the setbacks, the moments of doubt. But let's be real for a moment. The grind isn't easy. There will be days when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when it feels like you're not making any progress. There will be times when you question whether it's all worth it. And those are the moments that test your commitment. Because anyone can work hard when it's easy. But can you stay committed when it's hard? Can you keep grinding when the results aren't immediate? When the rewards feel far away? That's what separates the dreamers from the doers. The people who talk about success from the people who achieve it. So how do you stay committed to the grind? First, you've got to have a clear vision of what you're working toward. If you don't know what you want, it's easy to get distracted, to lose focus, to give up when things get tough. Your vision is your guiding star. It's what keeps you moving forward, even when the path is difficult. Second, you've got to break your goals down into manageable steps. The grind can feel overwhelming if you're always thinking about the big picture. But when you focus on the next step, the next task, the next challenge, it becomes more manageable. One step at a time, one day at a time, that's how you climb the mountain. Third, you've got to find joy in the process. I know that sounds strange. How can you enjoy something that's hard, repetitive, and sometimes frustrating? But the key is to focus on the growth, the progress, the little wins along the way. Celebrate the small victories. Recognize the effort you're putting in. And remind yourself that every step forward, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your goal. And finally, you've got to stay consistent. Consistency is the magic ingredient. It's not about working hard for a week or a month and then slacking off. It's about showing up day in and day out, putting in the work, no matter what. Success isn't built on occasional bursts of effort. It's built on consistent, sustained effort over time. So here's my challenge to you. Commit to the grind. Not for a week, not for a month, but for the long haul. Decide right now that you're going to show up. Give it your all, and keep going, no matter what. Because when you commit to the grind, when you embrace the process, when you put in the effort day after day, you set yourself apart. You prove to yourself and to the world that you're serious about your goals, that you're willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. And let me tell you, the rewards of commitment are worth it. The sense of accomplishment, the pride in knowing you've earned your success, the realization that you've become stronger, smarter, and more capable along the way. That's what makes it all worthwhile. So don't shy away from the grind. Don't look for shortcuts or easy ways out. Embrace the work, embrace the effort, embrace the process, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Number 4, be willing to do what others won't. Are you truly willing to do what others won't? That's the question that separates the dreamers from the achievers. It's the dividing line between those who talk about success and those who live it. Because here's the truth. The people who succeed, the ones who rise to the top, aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who are willing to go further, work harder, and sacrifice more than everyone else. They're willing to do the things that most people simply won't. Why is this so important? Because the road to success is not a crowded one. The further you go, the fewer people you'll find willing to make the climb. Most people stop at good enough. They want comfort, not challenge. They're okay with putting in the minimum effort as long as it gets them by. But if you want something extraordinary, if you want to build a life that's bigger and better than you ever thought possible, you can't stop at good enough. You've got to go beyond. You've got to be willing to do what others won't. Think about it for a moment. Look at the people you admire, the ones who've achieved greatness in their fields. What do they all have in common? They didn't get there by accident. They didn't get there by doing the same things everyone else was doing. They got there because they were willing to push harder, to take risks, to work longer hours, and to keep going when everyone else stopped. They were willing to say, I'll do whatever it takes. But let's break this down. What does it actually mean to do what others won't? It's not just about working harder, although that's certainly part of it. It's about making choices that set you apart. It's about being disciplined when others are distracted. It's about staying focused on your goals when everyone else is chasing instant gratification. It's about being willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term success. Let me give you an example. I once knew a man who started out in a small, struggling business. He wasn't the smartest guy in the room, and he didn't have the best connections. But he had one thing that set him apart. He was willing to outwork everyone else. While his competitors were sleeping in, he was up at dawn. While they were taking weekends off, he was hustling. While they were making excuses, He was finding solutions. Over time, his hard work paid off. His business grew, and he became one of the most successful entrepreneurs in his field. Why? Because he was willing to do what others wouldn't. Now let's be real here. Doing what others won't isn't easy. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun. It means saying no to things that might be tempting in the moment. It means putting in the effort when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you feel like giving up. It means facing challenges head on and refusing to back down, no matter how tough things get. But here's the thing. The hard stuff is what makes you stronger. The sacrifices you make now are what set you up for success later. One of the biggest challenges you'll face is the resistance from others. People will question you. They'll doubt you. They'll tell you to take it easy, to relax, to be realistic. And it's not because they don't want you to succeed. Most of the time, it's because your determination makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of the effort they're not willing to put in. Don't let their doubts become your doubts. Don't let their limits define what you can achieve. Stay focused. Stay committed. Be willing to stand out even if it means standing alone. Another challenge is dealing with your own inner resistance. Let's be honest, we all have moments when we feel like giving up. When the effort feels too great, the rewards feel too far away, and the comfort of quitting seems so tempting. But let me tell you something important. Those moments of doubt, those moments when you feel like stopping, are the moments that matter the most. Because that's when you have the chance to prove to yourself that you're different, that you're stronger, that you're willing to go the distance, no matter what. Here's the good news. The more you push yourself, the more you'll grow. The more you step outside your comfort zone, the more capable and confident you'll become. And over time, you'll start to see the results of your effort. You'll start to achieve things that once seemed impossible. You'll look back and realize that every sacrifice, every struggle, every extra hour of effort was worth it. So how do you start? How do you cultivate the mindset of someone who's willing to do what others won't? First, you need to get clear on your why. What are you working toward? What's driving you? If your reasons are strong enough, they'll keep you going when the road gets tough. Second, you need to embrace the process. Success isn't about one big, dramatic effort. It's about the small, consistent actions you take every day. Third, you need to surround yourself with people who support your goals. Find mentors, friends, and colleagues who inspire you and hold you accountable. And finally, you need to believe in yourself. Believe that you're capable of more than you think. Believe that your hard work will pay off. Believe that you have what it takes to succeed. Let me leave you with this thought. The world is full of people who settle, who take the easy road, who stop at average, who talk about their dreams but never take action. Don't be one of them. Be the person who goes all in. Be the person who does what others won't. Because when you do, you'll achieve what others can't. You'll create a life that's not just good but extraordinary. And isn't that what we're all here for? To live a life that's extraordinary, to make the most of our potential, to leave a legacy, to look back and say, I gave it my all. So don't wait. Start today. Do the hard work. Make the sacrifice. Be willing to go further, push harder, and give more than anyone else, because that's what it takes to succeed. And trust me, it's worth it. Number 5, focus and eliminate distractions. How much of your time do you spend on what really matters? Think about that for a moment. If you're chasing a goal or building a dream, every minute you spend should be a brick in that foundation. But the reality is, most people are spreading their energy too thin, chasing distractions that have nothing to do with their real purpose. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to focus. Not just casually focus, but lock in like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. The life you want, the success you're striving for, depends entirely on your ability to tune out the noise and zero in on what truly matters. Focus is one of the most powerful tools you can have, but it's also one of the hardest to maintain in today's world. Everywhere you turn, there's something competing for your attention. Social media, notifications, emails, entertainment. It's endless. And let's be honest, it's tempting. It's so easy to spend an hour scrolling through your phone, or getting caught up in things that at the end of the day don't move the needle. But here's the thing. Every time you give in to distraction, you're not just losing time, you're losing momentum. And momentum is everything. Without it, you're standing still. To focus, you need clarity. You have to know what you're aiming for. Without a clear goal, focus is impossible. Imagine trying to hit a target blindfolded. That's what it's like to live without a defined purpose. So take a moment and ask yourself, what am I working toward? What is the one thing that if I achieve it, will make the biggest difference in my life? Once you have that answer, everything else becomes secondary. Your focus should revolve around that one thing. It becomes your North Star. Now, clarity alone isn't enough. You also have to eliminate distractions. This means being honest with yourself about what's pulling you away from your work. It's not just about saying no to things that waste your time. It's about creating an environment where distractions can't even get in the door. Turn off notifications. Set boundaries with people who pull you into unnecessary conversations. And most importantly, recognize when you're your own biggest distraction. We've all been there, making excuses or finding reasons to procrastinate. But success doesn't come to those who wait for the perfect moment. It comes to those who create the moment by taking action, one focused step at a time. Let me share a story. There was a man I once knew who had a dream of becoming a writer. He had the talent, the ideas, and the ambition. But he also had a habit of letting himself get distracted. Every time he sat down to write, he found a reason to get up, a call to make, a show to watch, a notification to check. Weeks turned into months, and his dream stayed just that, a dream. Then one day he made a decision. He set a strict rule. Every morning for 2 hours he would write. No interruptions, no excuses. He told his friends, his family, everyone about his rules so they'd respect his time. And he stuck to it. Within a year he had written his first book. All because he focused. He eliminated distractions and committed to his goal. That's the power of focus. When you focus, you also have to prioritize. Not everything on your to-do list is urgent or important. There's a concept I love called the 80-20th rule. 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. So figure out what that 20% is for you. What are the few tasks that make the biggest impact? Focus on those. Everything else can wait, or better yet, delegate it. Your energy is finite, and you have to spend it wisely. But let me be real with you. Focusing doesn't mean working non-stop without a break. It's not about burning yourself out. It's about working smarter, not harder. There's a rhythm to focus. It's like a muscle. It needs to rest to grow. So take breaks when you need them. Step away from your work, recharge, and come back stronger. But make sure those breaks are intentional. Don't let them turn into hours of wasted time. There's a difference between recharging and procrastinating. Learn to recognize that line. Another key to focus is being present in the moment. Too often we let our minds wander to the past or worry about the future. But the only time you can act is now. The only time you have control is now. So whatever you're doing, give it your full attention. Whether it's working on a project, spending time with your family, or even resting, be fully there. When you're present, you're not just more productive, you're more fulfilled. One of the biggest obstacles to focus is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. These fears can paralyze you, keeping you from taking action. But here's the truth. Fear will always be there. It's part of the journey. The question is, will you let it control you, or will you face it head on and move forward anyway? Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. And when you focus on what matters, fear loses its power, because you're too busy building your dream to be held back by doubt. At the end of the day, focus is a choice. It's a decision you make every single moment of every single day. Will you give in to distractions, or will you stay on track? Will you let fear stop you, or will you push through? Will you waste your time on things that don't matter, or will you invest it in building the life you want? These choices add up. They determine where you end up, not just tomorrow, but years from now. So if you're serious about your goals, if you're ready to take your life to the next level, commit to focus. Decide right now that you're going to eliminate distractions, prioritize what matters, and give your full attention to your dreams. It won't always be easy, but I promise you, it will be worth it. Because focus is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's the difference between wishing for success and achieving it. And it's a choice you have the power to make, starting right now. So what are you waiting for? Focus and make it happen. Number 6, embrace the sacrifices. Most important truths about success: you can't have it all, not all at once. If you want to achieve greatness, there are sacrifices you have to make along the way. And I know, nobody likes to hear the word sacrifice. It feels heavy, doesn't it? But here's the thing. It's not about giving up things for the sake of suffering. It's about trading something temporary for something permanent. It's about letting go of good to make room for great. Think about any major achievement in history. Whether it's someone building a groundbreaking company, writing a masterpiece, or changing the course of humanity. Behind every story of success is a long list of sacrifices. Late nights, early mornings, skipped parties, moments of doubt, and a whole lot of saying no, when it would have been easier to say yes. Success isn't just about what you gain. It's about what you're willing to give up along the way. But here's the twist. Sacrifice isn't a punishment. It's a choice. And when you see it that way, it becomes empowering. Let's talk about what this looks like in real life. Maybe you have a dream to start your own business, but that means giving up some of your weekends. Maybe you want to get in the best shape of your life, but that means saying no to junk food and yes to a workout, even on the days you don't feel like it. These aren't losses, they're investments. Every sacrifice you make is a deposit into the future you're building. I want you to imagine your time, energy, and resources as a bank account. You're choosing to put your limited resources into something that will give you a return, something that will move you closer to your goals. That's a powerful shift in perspective, isn't it? I know it's not easy. It's hard to say no to things you enjoy in the moment. It's hard to tell your friends you can't go out because you're working on your dream. It's hard to spend hours on something that doesn't pay off right away. But let me tell you this, the people who achieve their goals are the ones who embrace the sacrifices. They don't see them as obstacles. They see them as part of the process. They understand that nothing worthwhile comes without a cost, and they're willing to pay that cost. Now, I want to be clear about something. Sacrifices don't mean you neglect everything else in your life. It doesn't mean you become so focused on one thing that you lose touch with your loved ones or forget to take care of yourself. There's a balance, but it does mean you have to prioritize. You have to decide what matters most to you and align your actions with those priorities. If your dream matters to you, it has to come first. Not second, not third. First. Let me share a story with you. There was a man I knew who had a dream of becoming a top musician. He wasn't born with a natural gift for music, but he had the determination to make it happen. While his friends were out having fun, he was practicing. While they were sleeping in, he was waking up early to learn a new skill. It wasn't easy for him. He missed out on a lot of social events. He felt lonely sometimes, but he kept reminding himself of why he started. He knew that every note he played, every hour he spent practicing, was bringing him closer to his dream. Years later, he became one of the best in his field. People looked at his success and thought, wow, he's so lucky. But they didn't see the sacrifices he made to get there. It wasn't luck. It was commitment. That's the kind of mindset you need. You have to be willing to do what others won't, so you can have what others don't. And here's the beautiful part. Every sacrifice you make builds your character. It strengthens your discipline. It teaches you resilience. It helps you grow into the kind of person who not only achieves success, but can sustain it. Because let's be real, success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about staying there. And the lessons you learn through sacrifice are what prepare you for that. I also want you to know that it's okay to feel the weight of your sacrifices. It's okay to miss the things you're giving up. You're human, and it's natural to feel that way. But every time you feel that weight, remind yourself of your why. Remind yourself of the vision you're working toward. Picture it vividly. See yourself crossing that finish line, achieving that goal, living that dream. Let that vision fuel you. Let it remind you that what you're doing matters. Here's something else to think about. Sacrifices aren't forever. They're temporary. The nights you spend working instead of relaxing, the moments you say no when you want to say yes, they're all part of a season. And seasons change. The sacrifices you're making now are laying the foundation for a future where you have more freedom, more opportunities, and more of the life you truly want. Isn't that worth it? As we talk about sacrifices, I want to challenge you to make them intentionally. Don't just give things up for the sake of it. Be strategic. Ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice to achieve my goal? What am I not willing to sacrifice? Because here's the thing, while sacrifices are necessary, they should never come at the cost of your values or your well-being. know your limits. Protect what truly matters to you, like your health and your relationships, while still committing fully to your dream. At the end of the day, sacrifices are a reflection of how much you value your dream. If you're not willing to give up something for it, you have to ask yourself, how much does this really mean to me? Because the truth is, what you're willing to sacrifice reveals your level of commitment. And commitment is what separates the dreamers from the doers. It's what turns a wish into a plan into action, and action into success. So what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you ready to let go of to make room for the life you truly want? These are tough questions, but they're the kind of questions that change lives. And let me tell you this, the sacrifices you make today will become the victories you celebrate tomorrow. The work you put in, the things you let go of, they're all part of a bigger story. Your story, a story of grit, determination, and triumph. So go ahead, make the sacrifices. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. And one day you'll look back and realize that every sacrifice was a step on the path to your success. Number 7, push through pain and fatigue. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? One day everything feels stable, predictable, even routine, and then something happens that shakes things up, forcing us to take a hard look at where we are and where we're going. But here's the beautiful thing. Those moments of disruption, those unexpected turns, are often the exact push we need to grow, to change, and to reach for something greater. Sometimes life's greatest gifts come wrapped in challenges, and it's up to us to see them for what they truly are. Opportunities in disguise. Have you ever felt like you were stuck in a cycle, repeating the same patterns, not moving forward but not exactly falling backward either? It's a frustrating place to be, isn't it? You look around and wonder, is this it? Is this all there is? And while that feeling might be unsettling, it's also a sign, a signal from your inner self that you're ready for something more. Growth doesn't happen when we're comfortable. It happens when we're stretched, when we're challenged, and when we dare to step out of what's familiar and into the unknown. But let's be honest, change is scary. Even when we know it's for the best, even when we can see the possibilities on the other side, taking that first step feels overwhelming. We start to question ourselves. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I make the wrong choice? These doubts are natural, but they're also the barriers standing between you and the life you want. The truth is, fear doesn't mean you shouldn't move forward. It just means you're human. And the real courage isn't in waiting for the fear to disappear. It's in taking action despite it. Let me tell you something that's helped me navigate those moments of fear and uncertainty. It's a mindset shift, but it's powerful. Instead of thinking about all the ways something could go wrong, start thinking about what could go right. Instead of focusing on the risks, focus on the rewards. Picture the life you want in vivid detail. See yourself living it. Feel the joy, the freedom, the fulfillment that comes with it. That vision isn't just a daydream. It's your guide. It's the reason you keep going, even when it's hard. One of the most important lessons I've learned is that progress doesn't happen overnight. It's built step by step, one decision at a time. And sometimes those steps feel small, even insignificant. You might wonder if they're making any difference at all, but let me assure you they are. Every choice you make, every effort you put in is like planting a seed. You might not see the results immediately, but over time those seeds grow into something beautiful, something you can be proud of. So don't underestimate the power of small, consistent actions. They're the foundation of everything great. Another thing I've come to realize is that you don't have to do it alone. Life isn't meant to be a solo journey, and neither is growth. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you, who believe in you, even when you struggle to believe in yourself. Find mentors, friends, and communities that lift you up and push you forward. And remember, it's okay to ask for help. In fact, it's one of the smartest things you can do. No one achieves greatness on their own, and neither will you. As you move forward, you'll face setbacks. That's just a part of the process. There will be days when nothing seems to go right, when you question whether it's all worth it. And on those days, I want you to remember this. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's a part of it. Every mistake, every misstep is a lesson in disguise. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. So don't let fear of failure hold you back. Embrace it as a stepping stone on your journey. One of the most life-changing realizations you can have is that you're not defined by your circumstances. Where you are right now doesn't have to be where you stay. You have the power to change your story, to rewrite it in a way that reflects who you truly are and what you're capable of. And let me tell you, you're capable of more than you can imagine. You have strengths, talents, and resilience within you that you haven't even tapped into yet. The key is to believe in yourself, even when it's hard. especially when it's hard. I know that sounds easier said than done, but self-belief is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Start by challenging the negative thoughts that hold you back. When you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, replace it with, I can figure this out. When you think, I'm not good enough, remind yourself of all the times you've overcome challenges before. Build yourself up, step by step, until you start to see yourself the way others see you, as someone with incredible potential. And here's another truth that's worth holding on to. Your journey doesn't have to look like anyone else's. We live in a world that loves to compare, that tells us we should be at a certain place by a certain age, that we should follow a specific path to success. But the reality is, there's no one-size-fits-all formula for life. Your path is yours alone, and it's okay if it doesn't look like anyone else's. What matters is that it's authentic to you, that it aligns with your values, your dreams, and your unique strengths. As we wrap up this conversation, I want to leave you with a thought that's both simple and profound. You are capable of change. No matter where you are, no matter what you've been through, no matter how far you feel from where you want to be, you have the power to move forward. It won't always be easy, and it won't always be quick, but it will always be worth it. The life you want, the person you want to become, it's all within your reach. You just have to take that first step, and then the next, and then the one after that. So here's my challenge to you. Start today. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. Don't wait until you feel ready, because you might never feel fully ready. Just take one step, no matter how small, toward the life you want. And keep taking those steps, day after day, until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. You've got this. You're stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and more capable than you know. Trust yourself, embrace the journey, and never stop reaching for more. The best is yet to come. Number 8, measure your progress. There's something truly incredible about the human spirit. It's this unyielding ability to dream, to hope, and to push through even the most challenging circumstances. Every single one of us carries this spark inside, a potential for greatness, for change, for growth. Sometimes, though, that spark can feel buried under the weight of doubt, fear, or just the grind of everyday life. But the truth is, no matter where you are right now, you have the power to turn things around. You have the ability to take control of your story and make it one worth telling. Have you ever stopped to think about what you really want out of life? Not the surface level stuff like a nice car or a bigger paycheck, but the deeper things: fulfillment, purpose, joy. These are the things that truly matter, the things that make life rich and meaningful. And here's the thing, those desires aren't just wishful thinking. They're signals, your heart's way of pointing you in the direction you're meant to go. The question is, are you listening? Are you willing to follow that inner voice, even when the path ahead seems unclear? I think one of the biggest obstacles we face when trying to change our lives is the belief that we're stuck. It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that our circumstances define us, that the cards we've been dealt are the only ones we'll ever get to play. But let me tell you something. That's not true. You are not your circumstances. You are not the mistakes you've made or the setbacks you've experienced. You are a work in progress, constantly evolving, constantly capable of more. One of the most transformative things you can do for yourself is to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, start viewing them as stepping stones. Instead of letting fear hold you back, let it fuel you. Fear is a sign that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, and that's where all the growth happens. Think about it. Every great achievement in history started with someone taking a risk, with someone daring to believe in something that wasn't guaranteed. Why shouldn't that someone be you? Another powerful shift is learning to embrace failure. I know it sounds counterintuitive. Nobody likes to fail. It's uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. But failure is an incredible teacher. Every time you stumble, you learn something new about yourself, about the world, about what doesn't work. And with each lesson, you get closer to figuring out what does. So don't be afraid to take risks, to try and fail and try again. The only real failure is giving up before you've given yourself a chance to succeed. Let's talk about time for a moment. We often hear people say, "I'll do it later," or "I'm waiting for the right time." But here's the thing, there is no perfect time. The right moment isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Every day you spend waiting is a day you could be using to move closer to your dreams. And the truth is, time is the one resource we can never get back. Once it's gone, it's gone. So don't waste another second doubting yourself or procrastinating. Start now, wherever you are, with whatever you have. I also want to remind you of the importance of self-belief. It's easy to look at others and think they have something you don't, that they're smarter, more talented, or just luckier. But the reality is, every successful person started somewhere. They faced doubts, they overcame obstacles, and they kept going, even when it was hard. The difference isn't that they're better than you, it's that they believed in themselves enough to keep trying. And you can do that too. You just have to decide that you're worth the effort. Part of believing in yourself is learning to tune out the noise. There will always be people who doubt you, who don't understand your vision, who try to pull you down to their level, but their opinions don't define you. You are not obligated to live your life according to someone else's expectations. This is your journey, and you get to decide where it takes you. So set boundaries, protect your energy, and focus on the things that truly matter to you. Surround yourself with people who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self. Speaking of inspiration, never underestimate the power of your environment. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the places you go, they all have a profound impact on your mindset and your motivation. If you want to grow, make sure you're in an environment that supports growth. Seek out mentors, read books that challenge your thinking, listen to podcasts that inspire you, and spend time with people who encourage you to dream bigger. The more you surround yourself with positivity and possibility, the more you'll start to believe in what's possible for you. As you work toward your goals, don't forget to celebrate the journey. It's so easy to get caught up in the end result, to think that happiness lies somewhere in the future, waiting for you to achieve it. But the truth is, happiness is found in the process. It's in the small wins, the lessons learned, the progress made. So take the time to acknowledge how far you've come, even if you're not where you want to be yet. Every step forward is something to be proud of. Remember that you are not alone. Whatever you're going through, whatever challenges you're facing, there are others who have been where you are and made it through to the other side. Their stories are proof that it's possible, and yours can be too. Don't be afraid to ask for help, to lean on others, to share your journey. There's strength in vulnerability, and there's power in connection. Together, we're capable of so much more than we are alone. So here's my message to you. Don't settle. Don't let fear or doubt or the opinions of others keep you from living the life you deserve. You are capable of incredible things, and the world is waiting for what you have to offer. Take that first step, even if it's a small one, and keep moving forward. You have everything you need within you to create a life that's not just good but extraordinary. Believe it, trust it, and go make it happen. Number 9. Balance between effort and renewal. There's a beautiful truth that often gets overlooked. Your life can change in an instant. With a single decision, a moment of courage, or even a shift in perspective, you can set yourself on a path that leads to something extraordinary. It's amazing to think that right now, this very moment, might be the one that sparks that transformation for you. Because the truth is, life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It waits for you to decide. Have you ever paused to consider the power you hold within you? I'm not talking about something you need to learn or earn or prove. I mean the potential that already exists in you, the kind that's just waiting for you to tap into it. It's so easy to get caught up in the routines and expectations of everyday life that we forget we have the ability to rewrite our story at any time. But the truth is, no matter where you are or what you've been through, you're always just one choice away from creating a new chapter. What holds most people back isn't a lack of ability or opportunity. It's fear. Fear of failure. Fear of judgment. Fear of the unknown. But here's the thing about fear. It's a natural part of growth. It shows up whenever you're stepping out of your comfort zone. And that's exactly where you need to be if you want to make real progress. Think about it. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, started with someone who was willing to face their fears and take a chance. If they can do it, why not you? Sometimes the hardest part is simply starting. We tend to overthink everything, waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect moment. But perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it will only keep you stuck. The best thing you can do is take that first step, no matter how small it feels. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about building momentum. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you're making progress you never thought possible. You might be wondering where to begin, And the answer is simpler than you think. Start by getting clear on what truly matters to you. Not what others expect of you. Not what society tells you should matter. But what genuinely lights you up. What are the dreams you've been putting on the back burner? What are the things that make you lose track of time? That fill you with a sense of purpose and joy? Those are the things worth pursuing. The things that will bring you closer to the life you're meant to live. Of course, pursuing your dreams isn't always easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But those moments are what make the journey worthwhile. They teach you resilience, they help you grow, and they make the victories that much sweeter. Think of any challenge you face as a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Each one is an opportunity to learn something new about yourself, and to prove to yourself just how capable you really are. It's also important to surround yourself with the right people. The energy and influence of those around you can have a huge impact on your mindset and your progress. Seek out people who inspire you, who encourage you, who believe in your potential even when you doubt it yourself. And don't be afraid to let go of relationships that drain you or hold you back. It's not always easy, but protecting your energy and your dreams is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. As you move forward, remember to be kind to yourself. We live in a world that often glorifies perfection and makes us feel like we're not enough. But the truth is, you are enough just as you are. You don't have to have all the answers, and you don't have to be perfect to start making progress. Give yourself permission to be a beginner, to make mistakes, and to learn as you go. Self-compassion is not a weakness. It's a strength, and it's one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Another thing to keep in mind is the power of gratitude. It's so easy to focus on what's missing or what's going wrong. But when you take the time to appreciate what you already have, something incredible happens. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It lifts your mood, and it reminds you of the abundance that already exists in your life. And the more you focus on that abundance, the more you'll attract even greater things. As you go through this process of growth and transformation, don't forget to celebrate the journey. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. Too often we wait for the big moments to feel proud or happy. But life is made up of all the little moments in between. So take the time to acknowledge your progress, to appreciate how far you've come, and to enjoy the ride. After all, the journey is just as important as the destination. And here's one final thought to leave you with. You have everything you need to succeed within you right now. You don't need anyone's permission, and you don't need to wait for the stars to align. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to go after it. So take that first step, trust yourself, and keep moving forward. Because the truth is, your best life is out there waiting for you, and you are more than capable of making it happen. Number 10, the reward of relentless work. There's this beautiful thing about relentless effort. It doesn't just change your circumstances, it transforms you. Every ounce of energy, every sleepless night, every time you push through the doubt and discomfort, you're not just building a better life, you're becoming someone you're proud of. And isn't that what we're all striving for? To wake up, look in the mirror and say, yes, this is who I want to be. When we talk about rewards, most people think about money, success, recognition, those external things we can measure. But let me tell you something that's even more valuable. The internal reward, the person you become through relentless effort, is someone who knows what it means to truly earn what they have. It's not about luck or shortcuts. It's about showing up day after day and proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever thought possible. Think about this for a moment. Every great achievement, every success story you admire, has one thing in common: relentless work. The artists who pour their hearts into their craft, the athletes who train through pain, the entrepreneurs who risk everything. They all understand that nothing worthwhile comes easy. But here's the secret. They don't always tell you the real reward isn't just the result. It's the journey. It's in the way you grow, the way you stretch, the way you discover strengths you didn't even know you had. You see, when you commit to working like hell for something you truly believe in, it changes how you see the world. You stop looking for excuses, and you start looking for opportunities. You stop worrying about what others think, and you focus on what matters to you. And that shift, it's powerful, because suddenly you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're not just hoping for success, you're creating it. One of the greatest rewards of relentless work is confidence. Not the kind of confidence that comes from what others say or think about you, but the kind that comes from within. When you know you've given it your all, when you've faced your fears and kept going despite the odds, there's a sense of pride that no one can take away from you. It's a quiet, unshakable belief in yourself, and it carries over into every aspect of your life. But let's be real, relentless work isn't easy. There will be days when you're exhausted, when the progress feels too slow, when you wonder if it's all worth it. And those are the moments that test you. Those are the moments that separate the people who dream about success from the people who achieve it. Because the reward doesn't come to those who quit when it gets hard. It comes to those who dig deep and keep going. Here's another thing to consider. The impact of your effort goes beyond you. When you work relentlessly, you inspire others to do the same. Your dedication, your perseverance, your refusal to give up, it's contagious. Whether you realize it or not, you're setting an example for your friends, your family, your community. And that kind of influence, that kind of legacy, is a reward in itself. Now let's talk about the moments of success. Those milestones along the way. Maybe it's the first time you hit a goal you thought was out of reach. Maybe it's the moment someone acknowledges your hard work. Or the day you realize you've overcome a challenge that once seemed impossible. Those moments are like fuel. They remind you why you started. And they give you the energy to keep going. But here's the catch. You only get to experience those moments if you're willing to put in the work. And let's not forget about gratitude. When you work relentlessly, you develop a deep appreciation for everything you achieve, because you've earned it. You know what it took to get there? The sacrifices, the setbacks, the sleepless nights. And that makes the reward all the sweeter. It's a kind of gratitude that changes you. It makes you more present, more humble, and more connected to the people and opportunities in your life. But perhaps the most life-changing reward of relentless work is the realization that you're capable of so much more than you thought. Every time you push past your limits, every time you overcome a challenge, you're expanding your idea of what's possible. And that realization, it's priceless. Because once you know what you're capable of, nothing can hold you back. You start setting bigger goals, dreaming bigger dreams, and living a life that's truly your own. So if you're ever tempted to take the easy road, remember this: the easy road might be comfortable, but it won't lead you anywhere worth going. The real rewards, the kind that change your life, come from taking the harder path. The path that challenges you, stretches you, and makes you grow. And while that path might not always be easy, it's always worth it. In the end, relentless work isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. It's about building a life you're proud of, a life that reflects your values, your dreams, and your potential. So don't hold back. Don't settle for less than you're capable of. Commit to the work, embrace the journey, and trust that the rewards will come, not just in what you achieve, but in the person you become along the way. Because that, my friends, is the ultimate reward.